the debate point, listen, to me, and I know people say this is cocky and arrogant or whatever, but that stuff is easy to me. Like, it's not, I don't like debating, and the fact that I don't like debating is one of the reasons why people think I'm so good at debating, is because I
100%.
like
I get exactly what you mean. I debated Anomaly the other day, and he reminded me why I don't debate YouTubers.
Yeah, because you want to correct. You have this urge to correct the record. Like when somebody says something so crazy, you're just like, no. Like, I have to explain why that's wrong, and let me break this down in as quick a way and as straightforward a way as humanly possible. And you mentioned Destiny before. I love Destiny. I think he's great at debating. But the point that I made is, I find he's great at poking logical holes in his opponent's argument.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. What I haven't seen
him do a lot of is build his own case for his own positions on things, which in my opinion is step 2 of debating. Step 1 is, I'm going to dismantle the stuff that was just put in front of me that's ridiculous.
And it can't even just be hole poking. Like, that's what people don't really get. You can poke 50,000 holes, but if the water jug is 50,000 gallons and 10,000 holes ain't going to do nothing. You got to be able to rip a hole in that thing. And that's a huge part. Like, I used to do, American Parliamentary Debate Association.
I don't, but it sounds official.
Bro, that's where, unfortunately, it used to be super conservative. So that's where like Ted Cruz used to debate in college.
Oh God,
it used to be exclusively Ivy League. It's still mad elitist, but the VP of McKinsey came from there.
Oh my goodness,
it's like that. I used to be in there in college, and like you can poke holes all day, and you can even build up your argument. But if you don't successfully tear theirs down, like fundamentally, then there's nothing to be discussed about what your argument is until you can, tear down that affirmative. And that's true. I've never seen, and Destiny's really good at poking holes.
He's really good.
But I feel like he's just like he's a cynic, basically. He's a very intelligent cynic.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But if you can't then build an argument to favor your side, I guess like if you can't build an affirmative argument to favor your side, then all the holes you poke doesn't do anything. It just creates a vacuum. Okay, so we're both wrong. Now what?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. And that's what happened in that debate I did with that conservative YouTuber Razorfist on the issue of healthcare. That's why you could see it's a clinic in exactly what you just described right there. Because I take what he gives me, which is BS example. He literally used Stefan Molyneux's experience with the Canadian healthcare system and try to make the claim that the Canadian healthcare system is not good or whatever. And so I, of course, dismantled that argument, and then I immediately went on to build the case for Medicare for all. Immediately after that in a smooth transition. And that's why, the dude still gets tweets today where people are like, you should just retire, bro.
Yeah, I had to debate. Look, I debated 2 people. I debated Matt
I gotta look at these. Are these on YouTube?
They're there, man. They're there. I debated Matt Christensen. This dude, and it was about the Michael Bennett situation in Las Vegas. How basically, I'm like, if you're talking about, because he basically tried to shred Bennett and then even Colin Kaepernick somehow in the same process. When he got arrested in Las Vegas and tackled by cops, and there's a bunch of people running, but the one they went after was a big black dude. Yeah. And I was so it was a philosophical debate for the most part. And I was basically building up the case that basically we're in the time right now. If you see a guy get arrested out of 150 people that are also running, and that's the only person that gets arrested, you have to assume race plays a part at this point. Sure. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I was building up the case using a bunch of different statistics, talked about red line, blah, 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 blah. I even talked about a Harvard study that showed that corporations were not hiring black people because they believed they had a higher likelihood of doing drugs. And it turned out it was the total opposite. It was the white males that actually had a higher likelihood of doing drugs when it was all said and done. You know what he said about the Harvard study? He said, I don't believe that.
Ugh. I was you win the debate right there.
I guess, you know what I'm saying? Hold up. So you don't because it's one thing if it was just that in a vacuum, but when you have a bunch of different examples and then people don't want to acknowledge it, it's like, why am I even doing this debate? I thought that it was going to be a genuine engagement, and I always make that dumbass mistake. I did the same thing with Anomaly. Anomaly was trying to say that Medicare for all had a mandate similar to Obamacare. And I was like, first of all, I used to work in health insurance. That's not true at all.
Yeah, not true.
The policy that required the mandate for Obamacare is actually in the bill, and it is specifically defined as it pertains to the bill. So he's trying to go to Google, right? Bro, he said, I'm going to define, this is what Webster's definition of a mandate. I said, oh my fucking
God.
Webster. That's who I'm going to go to, Webster. If Webster said it, it's got to be a fact. Fuck all these academics who literally invested hours and hours into this rhetoric. And so he said, and then I was like, look, bro, The mandate is part of the policy. He told me, and I bullshit you not. You got to watch. He says, Obamacare isn't a policy. I'm not even joking.
What?
Bruh, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, bro, you're joking, right? You did not just say that.
Disingenuous at that point. And that's the thing. The other thing is, and I'm sure you'll agree with this too, what I do is if I get something wrong in a debate, I can admit it. Like, I'll be like, yeah, I'm wrong. I was wrong about that part. And then we'll move on and I'll explain and we'll move forward from there. But like, that's one of the things, like what you're describing right now, the fact that they went to that extent to try to defend their position as opposed to just conceding that point is probably one of the main reasons why they sound like terrible debaters.
Yeah, like they can't concede a basic point.
Right.
Even in the middle of the Medicare for All section of the debate, because the debate was really about who's more establishment, Bernie or Trump. Yeah, I know it's not even fucking close.
Yeah,
but I entertained it because it was supposed to be a genuine conversation.
Yeah,
you know, but he said, I said, where you get that there's this mandate that you're talking about? He was like, you can even ask Bernie or even Google it, bro. So I go directly to Sanders Institute's site. And I'm like, bro, there's no mandate here. And he's like, oh, bro, that's such a joke. I stopped the argument. I said, hold up, everybody do me a favor. Go to sandersinstitute.com/XYZ and let me know what this website says. And he's like, oh, bro, you're such a joke, man. It's like you're exposing yourself, bro. I'm like, you said to Google it. And then when I Google it, you get upset. And he starts like laughing and like, you're talking over me. You're talking over me. I'm like, no. And it's crazy to me. I'm sure you've noticed this habit. It's crazy how quick conservatives, who are always quick to call someone else the victim, they're always victimizing themselves. They always make themselves the victims.
Oh, they love that shit. They bask in that all day long, man. They love it. They love to play the victim. They also contradict themselves all the time.
Thanks for watching that segment of Mikai Says Sukasa. Don't forget to join us on Roku and catch our Roku exclusives. Also, help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and JustNForm.com. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.